Hello, Internet! I'm Elliot the Purple Hair Doofus, and welcome to the beginning of The Wastelands by Stephen King. Today we're covering up through part 13 of Bear and Bone. I hope you've read up to that point because I do not want to ruin anything for you. The beginning of this book starts with an argument, which is basically Stephen King recapping the first two books of the Dark Tower series because this is the third book. And if you've already watched my videos on the first two, you have no need for me to describe what happens in the argument. Let's just say the first book introduces the gunslinger, the second book introduces the two characters, Eddie and Susanna, who are not from the gunslinger's world, who he kind of drags into his world to help him along with his mission of finding the Dark Tower. Then we get into the actual meat of the book. And the first section is Susanna and Roland practicing live ammo, Roland trying to teach Susanna how to wield a gun. And he actually uses a tactic where he makes her very angry in order to trick her into aiming correctly and trick her into shooting correctly. This pisses her off, and as they are arguing over whether or not Roland did the right thing, they hear a tree crash in the distance, and they instantly think of Eddie, who they left alone. The next section starts to describe a bear and how it was the biggest thing in the forest at one time, and how it's just not feeling well, I guess you would say. It is scrounging for food or health or something along those lines when it comes across a campsite. This campsite, of course, is the campsite of Susanna, Roland, and Eddie. The next two sections are a little difficult. Stephen King describes Eddie whittling something in wood, but apparently this happened 2 days ago. And then the section after that takes place 2 days before that, and it just feels a little awkward the way that he described the timing of that. But basically it's talking about how Eddie likes to whittle, and Eddie used to whittle when he was little. Little when he was little. How Eddie used to whittle around his older brother, Henry, and Henry would get jealous of him because Henry was the older brother and Eddie found something that he was good at. And so Eddie never really whittled around his brother because of the insecurities that they both had. Then we come back to the present where the bear attacks Eddie. Eddie climbs up a tree while the bear is down there, and the bear sneezes all of these white parasites all over Eddie's body, and it's really gross. And the bear has this kind of like head thing on top of its head. The characters either describe it as a hat or a satellite dish. It just looks very awkward on top of the bear. While Eddie is up in the tree, Roland actually grabs Susanna out of her wheelchair, wraps her around his shoulder, and runs towards Eddie as fast as he possibly can. And so it's just Roland, Susanna standing on top of each other, and Eddie on top of a tree. Roland tells Susanna to fire at the bear and kill it. And Susanna doesn't know where to fire. And Roland says, well, there's a giant target on top of his head. Aim for it. And so Susanna does. The bear dies. Eddie climbs down, and all three of them are inspecting the dead bear, and they find a metal plate on the side of the bear. And this is where it is revealed that the bear is a robot. And it's like, that's awesome! A freaking robot bear? That's amazing! Yes! Have you guys seen the movie Detention with Dane Cook? Forget. But while they're inspecting it, Roland actually becomes ill, and he grabs his head, and he doubles over in pain. And so Susanna and Eddie have to finally confront Roland on why he is ill, and Roland says it's nothing, and they say, it is something, you are dying, you have to tell us, you dragged us here, we are trapped here, if you die, we don't know how to live here, you have to tell us what's going on. And Roland starts describing the story of Jake from the first book, when he was going along and Jake dies in his journey to go after the Man in Black. But in the second book, when he was retrieving Susanna, he actually killed the man who killed Jake. So inside Roland's mind, he's dealing with these two realities that are kind of, I don't know, battling against each other inside of his head. And the thing is like, he told Eddie about it before he went into the door to protect Susanna. He thinks that Eddie should know, but Eddie doesn't remember him telling him about Jake. Eddie doesn't have that same problem, and it's really interesting. I guess is the right word for it. Then Roland sits them down and starts talking about his journeys, where he's explaining about Jake, and he actually describes how to find the Dark Tower, or how it was taught to him. And the thing is, in his world there are 12... I don't know what you would call them exactly, or remember what they were called in the book, but they're pretty much 12 video game bosses, and they're all in a circle. You draw 6 paths that actually go across the circle. They all connect in the center, and that is where the Dark Tower is. And the thing was, the bear was actually one of these bosses, and they just killed him. So now they have to find the corresponding boss. Eddie and Susanna are kind of like, okay, this is weird, but we'll go along with it because we have no other choice. Why don't you tell us about your upbringing? Susanna actually lifts up the jawbone from the first book and says, you're going to end by describing what this means. And I'm like, yes, please, because that part of the book made absolutely 0 sense to me. The jawbone is finally going to be described to me after a book and a half of waiting, so that is exciting. He begins his tale, and that is where I will leave you for today. Tomorrow we will finish the Bear in the Bone story. The next book that I will be reading is The Curious Case of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Oh, no, read it wrong. The next book that I will be reading is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Could I have chosen a book with a shorter title? Possibly. Did I want to? No. Go out and grab it by any legal means necessary. Borrow it from a library, borrow it from a friend, buy it at a bookstore, buy it on a Kindle. I don't care what you do as long as it's legal and you read it before I ruin it for you. I've been Ellie the Purple-Haired Doofus reminding you to watch your pajamas, and I will see you all in the next section of The Wastelands by Stephen King. Toodles!